There are so many times, and this is one of the major reasons why I pray in the Spirit many times, is because I'm encouraging myself, I'm building myself up, and there'll be actual times when I say, I'm going to pray in other tongues for a half hour or an hour. And it may be because I'm tired, it may be because I've been weary, a lot of work, whatever it is, and I know that I have things ahead of me. Well, I take that time to pray in the Spirit, and I can just sense the jumper cables coming down from heaven into my spirit, charging me up and allowing me to do what I need to do, the things that I have to do. And there's so many times when I've done that, talking about David encouraging himself in the Lord. Ziklag was burned to the ground where David was. Wives and children were taken away. And it says that in 1 Samuel 30, verse 6, David encouraged himself in the Lord. And that's what you do when you're praying in the Spirit. When I'm praying in other tongues, now just in the few moments that I did that, I was doing that purposely to edify myself.
That's the thing, George. A lot of people don't realize this. In Romans chapter 8, verse 5, it says, this amplified again, those who are according to or who are following after or in line with, in step with, the Holy Spirit, they pursue, I lost my place here, according to the Holy Spirit, are controlled by the Spirit, and they set their minds on those things which gratify the Holy Spirit. It goes on in the next verse to talk about the mind of the flesh and the mind of the Spirit. So you can, on purpose, set yourself as to why you're praying in other tongues. Now, there is an edification that happens anytime you're praying in the Spirit, but you can, on purpose, focus to do that. You focus by faith.
Yeah, that's good.
And it's the mind, the Spirit, the intent, I think is a good way to put it. The intent, you purpose by faith that I'm going to walk here for 15 minutes up and down my hall or on my knees and pray in other tongues. And it's like turning your focus and your attention inward, and you know that this is what I'm doing. It's like Pastor George just said. Sometimes you're praying in other tongues and it's reaching upward towards God for some reason. But then this says edifies himself, the Holy Spirit helping you. It's like speaking words of confession. I'm strong in the Lord, the power of His might. I'm healed by the stripes of Jesus. I have the mind of Christ. I have the blessing of Abraham. Blessed coming in, blessed going out. I dwell in the secret place of the Most High. Those are words in your known language whereby you are building yourself up. You're building up your faith. You're building up the spiritual wall and strength in you. Same thing with praying in the Spirit.
Yeah.
Praying in the Spirit doesn't replace what you pray in your known language, but it's another aspect, and it reaches to a different level that you can't get only by praying in your known language. So I look into myself, within myself, not praying to myself, but speaking. 1 Corinthians 14:2 says, he that speaks in an unknown tongue speaks not to men but to God. There's a speaking in tongues, not all of it is praying or asking or making intercession. And I even sometimes within myself can picture that I'm exercising this spiritual muscle that's this of my spirit.
Yeah. I like the story that Brother Hagin tells, and I've used this so many times personally. Talks about how he prayed for 1 hour in tongues, and it was dry.
Yeah, he had to make himself do it.
He had to make himself do that. And then the devil said to him, you just wasted your time. And I like what he said. So he doubled it. He prayed 2 hours. And the devil said, you wasted your time. You could have been studying. You could have been preparing. Think about the devil saying you could have been preparing for church.
You should have been studying.
And preparing for church. So he doubled it again and prayed in tongues for 4 hours. 4 hours. And then he said he hit a gusher. A gusher.
Hit a gusher. So I've heard him say this too. Pray in the Spirit till you get in the Spirit.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
dare say most of you, many of you, maybe most of you, have never had that encounter to where you suddenly become so aware of your spirit man in a way you never had before,
Yeah.
and aware of the Holy Spirit within your spirit man. That also is the strength. You become strong in that aspect of your
Yeah.
life.